Welcome to Module 3 of the 15-Minute Band Builder. Josh Liston here again. Hopefully you guys have been getting a lot out of Module 1 and 2. Module 3, we're going to look at better band rehearsals. So essentially, how can we maximize our rehearsal time to make sure we're as good in the studio and on stage as we can be without wanting to destroy ourselves or kill each other. Primarily, that's what we're looking to achieve here. So efficiency and effectiveness in our band rehearsals. So here we go. As always, a quotation. Module 3's comes from Seth Godin. This is actually one of my favourite music-related quotations, although he didn't make this in relation to music specifically. That's how I take it. And that's to go to work on a regular basis. So what I get out of that is, if you want to achieve anything out of the ordinary, you have to be in the game to do that. You really have to be working hard and doing that every day. You can't just do something once every so often and expect to have meteoric results. That's just not realistic. So that one again from Seth Godin, go to work on a regular basis. Better band rehearsals. Time, day, location. Pick a specific time or times and or days of the week your band is fully committed to rehearsing, and stick to them, doggedly in fact. Make sure that you don't change these up too often, and make sure that to begin with they suit everybody as well as possible, so there is less and less likelihood that they will be changed for no reason, or just for one band member who didn't put the time into thinking about it to begin with. Choose a location that is affordable, meaning that you can afford to pay for using the facility on a regular basis. Make sure it's accessible, meaning that you want to be able to get in and out as often as you would like to, and at whatever times you would like to do that. And also you want it to be sound isolating, meaning that 5 minutes after you start practice, you're not going to have the police there closing your rehearsal down. So you want it to be soundproofed as much as possible. Next, pick a place with reliable, clean electricity that can also be locked up securely. You may need to take a quick break to get food, drinks, strings or picks if you happen to lose them or break them, drumsticks, drum heads, etc., new guitar leads. So you want to have a place that's got clean electricity, so it's good for your gear. Nothing's going to blow up all of a sudden. You also want to be able to lock up your rehearsal space so you can leave if you need to for any temporary reasons, and then come back and know that all your gear is going to be safely stored away. Finally, you want to practice your current set in the exact order your band is planning to perform it live. This is an old trick. A lot of big musicians have said this in different ways over the years, and that's to basically treat your rehearsals like it is the real deal. Do everything in the same order. Don't stuff around too much between songs at rehearsal if you can avoid it, so it's more like performing live. And in the end, this increases what's known as muscle memory and improves song-to-song transitions. This will also lead to an improved set overall, because your body will remember and your band's collective mind or mindset will be really locked into how the set's meant to move. So, better band rehearsals. This is about recording and reviewing the rehearsal. A key point. This is something that I picked up from Martin Atkins, the author of Band Smart, and an older book named Tour Smart, which are basically the go-to books in this whole space, in my opinion. So we'll just break down a few of the things that he makes mention of in that book, and I'll expand upon it a little bit in light of some newer technology. That's always be recording your rehearsals. That includes writing sessions and any gigs for that matter as well. You want to be recording in video or audio, or both, preferably. A good video with half-decent audio will get the job done better than anything else. And what you want to be looking for is to make sure that your non-verbal communication skills are there, that your transitions are working well between section changes, you have good count-ins, you look good, one person's not rocking out and the other person's not dead still like a statue. The only way you're going to know this stuff is to make sure you get it right in the rehearsal room first, and to be really critical on yourself and watch those videos. So as a specific lesson that I gleaned from Martin Atkins in his book Tour Smart, and that's that you really don't know whether you're actually any good until you look back at recordings and really drill down critically. So this could be songwriting, sessions, performance, sound checks, the reaction from the crowd, whether someone in the band looks like they're rocking out and someone doesn't, as we mentioned before. You need to be pretty diligent. Review those early tapes of yourself and really work to put together a good looking rehearsal, and that will translate into a good looking live show. Better band rehearsals. Practice and perfect your setup and takedown procedure. This is a systematic process of perfecting your setting up process and also your pack down process when playing live. If you can get your setting up and pack down process to a really streamlined point, you'll greatly increase your chances of impressing bigger artists, venue bookers, and other live-oriented industry professionals. So that would be someone like a festival booker that has a lot of bands moving on and off stages quickly, that doesn't want an inexperienced, slow band taking 3 hours to get off the stage after they've finished their really short set. So make sure that you have an idea, whether that means that you need to help your drummer get all his stuff off first, his or her, cymbals off the stands, and then they take care of the rest, and then you do your own guitar gear or something of that nature. Make sure everyone knows who has to help who to get it on and off stage as well, and as quickly as possible, and with as little fuss as possible for the people organising the show and bands that are looking to come on after you. Just another note, in general, for a means of becoming tighter, you should always have your bass player in rehearsal and on stage on the same side of the drummer as the snare drum, or at least have them on the same side of the drummer all the time so they're used to that. They're the core of the band as far as tightness, and they really need to be locked in with each other. Particularly if you keep your bass player on the snare side of the drum kit, you'll find that you should get tighter straight away. This is not a theory that I've made up. It just seems to be a general observation across the history of music and really tight bands. Anyone from The Answer in the UK, Mammal Enclosure in Moscow, who are Australian bands, Billy Talent from Canada, Muse, AC/DC, U2. Most bands don't change their set position all that much, and they generally do rehearse in the same spots that they play at on stage. It just makes the entire experience tighter, and everyone knows where everyone's going to be and what everything should sound like, particularly on stage. If you're a drummer and you're used to having the bass player on a certain side of your body and vice versa, then you'll become a lot tighter because you'll be used to listening to each other and expecting a certain sound to come from a certain place. Practice the big moments. What we're looking to do here is to practice the bigger moments of a set where there may be some kind of crowd interaction, solo performance, or abnormally technical instrumental or multimedia syncopation that is occurring in the live show. You want to get these right in the rehearsal room. We're not all great jazz improv guys or Dave Matthews Band who can pull off a full band improv section anytime they want on stage. We need to get these things right for all us actually born on planet Earth bands that are just trying to get our lives set together. If you do have a big solo section, make sure you practice as many aspects of that big moment as you can. As it's said in the industry, at least 55% of what people remember most about a live show are the visual performance elements. So you want to make sure you're putting on a good visual show. For example, we'll go through one idea of a big moment, and that would be for a lead guitar player, as that's something that I do myself, and I can kind of understand what goes into preparing for a solo section as a lead guitarist. So if, for example, you are the lead guitar player of your band, you have a truly awesome solo in song number 3, approach rehearsing like this. Will I need pedal access? Do I need to switch sounds before, during, or after the solo section? Meaning, do I have to be in a certain location to switch a certain number of pedals, and in what order do I do that? And how do they need to be set for that to work well? How early should I step forward, and what attitude do I want to portray to the audience? Most solo sections demand a little bit more of a out the front kind of attitude. You don't just want to be turning around and hiding backwards if you're in the middle of a huge guitar solo, unless that's your actual thing that you do regularly. But in most cases, people want to see you step forward and really take ownership of those big moments, so you need to know where you want to be and what type of attitude you want to portray. And where is your ideal spot on the stage for soloing? What does that look like? Are you going to stand on the foldback? Are you going to stay close to your pedals? Are you going to put the guitar up on your left leg or right leg to really get some purchase on the neck? That's all worth thinking about. Do you want to interact with other band members? Will this enhance or possibly hinder your solo? If your other band members are crazy on stage and they happen to smash into you a lot, that might work well for 90% of the set, but if you're playing a big demanding solo, you probably don't want your bass player or singer shoving you half over in the middle of that. And finally, where do I need to be on stage when my big moment comes to a close? Do you need to be somewhere to switch pedals on and off, change sounds, or get back into a more demanding rhythm part? So hopefully that was a good example of practicing a big moment. And just keep in mind that you really do need to be doing that. 15-minute band builder, module 3 actions. Find and check out a good rehearsal location. Discuss what you wish to achieve before every rehearsal. Meaning, don't just go in blind, talk about exactly what you want to get out of each rehearsal, whether that's finishing a new song, playing the set from start to finish in a certain time, not stuffing around too much between songs, practicing those 3 big solo sections that you've talked about, anything like that. Make sure you talk about that before the jam and don't just go in with no plan in mind, because then you're not just doing much beyond practicing your own individual sections. Agree not to talk too much business before and after rehearsals. That's really important. I've stressed that before in Module 2. Over time, you'll realise how important that piece of advice is. It's just not to talk too much heavy business when you're in a creative or rehearsal mindset. It doesn't help anyone out if something starts to go awry and you have a business disagreement, to then try and take an enthusiastic perspective on your rehearsal after that. Set up to rehearse in the same formation that you plan to play live as much as you can. That helps with muscle memory, your band's spatial relations to each other. They know where to expect certain sounds to come from at certain times. It'll also improve your communication, that everyone knows where to look when a certain part of a song happens and who's going to be looking back at them from where. Find a way to record your rehearsals in audio and or video, or both. A good video with good sound is the optimal solution, and review these videos. And finally, it's just to have fun at practice. It's not the end of the universe if things go wrong. That's why you're practicing. You're not a perfect professional band yet, or you wouldn't be taking such an easy avenue into rehearsal. I mean, most bigger bands, they have their full production in their entire stage crew and setup and everything happening when they're touring to make sure they're getting their in-ear monitors and all that stuff right. You guys may actually be at that level, but I'm probably assuming that 99% of you aren't. So just remember to have fun. It's not the end of the world if things don't always go right at practice. That's why you're doing it. You're trying to stop bad stuff happening on stage. Okay, so just again, if you do have any questions or you need any support, just email joshdymusicmovement@gmail.com. Use the phrase 15MBB support in your email to get a quicker reply. Otherwise, you can just DM me on Facebook or Twitter. Rightio, the links are there. So I'll see you in Module 4. Cheers.